Hi, everyone.
Hi.
You
How
know,
are you doing?
How's everyone doing? Dawn, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you very much. What a great group of guests we have today.
Yeah, so I got a bit of the issue. I just want to sort this out before we continue. So it's only allowing me to keep 6 people on the screen. So Benafsha, am I saying the name correct?
Yes.
That's the only one. So Dawn, I'm just going to remove you. Okay, not you.
Yeah,
Let me just check with
fine.
Hi, Mahnaz, can you hear us?
I won't take it personally.
Hi, Mahnaz. Okay.
I think she has internet connection problem.
Yeah.
We
Let's
might
try.
mention, Kino,
Hi,
that
Benafsha, can you hear us?
Kino,
Okay.
we might mention
Hi.
that our guests are all over Asia,
Hmm.
so there's going to be technical problems. But we sure appreciate their efforts to get on.
Yeah. So
with
between
us.
Mahnaz and Benafsha, I can only keep them on one at a time. So I just hope they can hear
Hi,
what's.
how are you doing?
Hi, Benafsha. Okay, and
It's
yourself?
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Okay, I'm just going to remove Benafsha and just check if Mahnaz can hear us. Hi, Mahnaz.
She has her mic muted.
Okay. I think, yeah, there's connectivity issues. Okay, let's keep Benafsha on and just take it from here. And I'll just monitor it.
Yeah.
So welcome everyone to Creating Team Human. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for finding the courage and strength to do so. I mean, this is phenomenal. Dawn, from your end?
Yeah, this is really exciting. And we not only appreciate your being on the show, but the courage that you've shown to get where you are, and then to come on and discuss your situation on a podcast like this. It's obviously a reflection of the incredible courage and determination that's part of you. Just to introduce the podcast, this is called Creating Team Human, and basically, what we're working on is a discussion about how the state of the world and how this distrust of the other has paralyzed us. And what we are doing is inviting guests from all kinds of backgrounds to explore how we can consolidate our collective strengths and skills to combat the problems that face all of humanity, whether it's climate change or so many other areas. And we often start off with a poem by Langston Hughes, and it's called Tired. And it goes like this: I'm so tired of waiting, aren't you, for the world to become good and beautiful and kind. Let us take a knife and cut the world in two and see what worms are eating at the rind. So what we're going to ask you today is to help us better understand what worms are eating at the rind of a better world. And just very briefly, the women that have joined us are all part of the Kaaj Educational Program for Afghani girls and women, which was created to provide educational opportunities for Afghani women despite the oppression and discouragement of education throughout the country. So again, we so admire and thank you for being here to discuss the Afghani educational situation for women.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yasmin is full of smiles. Okay, we can go one by one, and then each person can give, you can take as much time as you want, an introduction about yourself, how in depth you want to go about it. It's completely up to you. But just like a formal introduction, as we proceed with the show, we're going to get to know each other more, and then, we'll hand the mic back to each of you to give us your story and where you are at the moment. And like Yasmin explained to us before we came on, what she wants to do with her education moving forward. I mean, from my point of view, I would have never imagined us having this conversation, honestly. Dawn and I have conversations with mainly first world countries. We've touched in Africa as well, but to move to where you guys or girls are at the moment, I mean, that's something. And it just shows you the power of podcasts in 2025 and what we can do with this decentralized platform. It's astonishing. It's amazing. The power it holds. You can't control this. You can't control someone wanting to voice their opinion or what they're unhappy with in their country or in the world. So let's utilize this power, while we still can, and get the word out there and change lives and bridge those tribal gaps, as Dawn likes to say, tribal. Like Dawn, I was reading up on the Roman Empire, and it made me think how far back this actually goes.
Tribalism.
Divisions. It goes back all the way then. Like all we're living with at this present moment in time is like tribalism or division on steroids. So
absolutely right. Absolutely right. And I mean, it's not, we think of tribalism oftentimes in the context of Africa or maybe, pre-contact America. But tribalism, as these folks know all too well, is alive and well in the 21st century. And so let's get at it. Let's hear about it from your perspective.
Okay, Yasamine, we can start with you. You can go for it. Stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Dawn and Kino, both of you, and thank you so much again for having us. So I guess I will start with introducing myself. My name is Yasamine, and I'm originally from Afghanistan, from Ghazni province, and then I lived in Kabul. I am currently pursuing my bachelor degree in the OEC Academy in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, majoring in economics. And I just joined Kaaj Education almost 2 years ago. Started working as a volunteer, as a student coordinator, helping our second cohort at that time with more or less like 30 students. And now this cohort this year, we have around 100 students, which hopefully this number would increase, and we hope for millions of students one day from all around the world. And as the system of education is changing, and we're not going to sit in the classes like maybe 50 years later from today, we need this system. And I guess it's also this is a good opportunity for teaching them, even preparing them for the future. And I'm currently working with all these amazing girls. And I also there might be some people who don't know what Kaaj means and what is this, how this name came from. So Kaaj in Persian means pine tree. And this name came from an attack in Kabul and center that happened in like 4 years ago, I believe. And that most of the students were girls in that center, and many of them get injured or killed during that attack, unfortunately. And this program is named after those girls. And after them, we have all the girls, this is our third cohort that we're working together. We're helping the girls for English classes at the beginning. Later on, digital literacy. We have resilience skill class, and later on, mentorship that we're helping them to get ready and learn to prepare for some scholarships, to gain some scholarship from abroad and go out of the country. And we had some students that Kaaj, and those who are currently, like our president of Kaaj is currently living in US and working in Yale. Like he was also able to do some fundraising and helping some of our students to even like go to the country they were going, because most of the scholarships, like fully funded scholarships, are so hard to get. And in some parts, like Kaaj, is there like a family, as usually we say, and helping them. And my background, like from a much younger age, since I remember being a girl in Afghanistan, and also I come from Hazara ethnicity, which is the third biggest ethnicity in Afghanistan. And this group or ethnicity have been experiencing systematic, I'd say, genocide and hate against this group that was going on. And the Kaaj is a great example of that. And being from that group, like growing from younger age, since I was 5 or maybe 6, I didn't know myself very well back in that time that I was being offended or cursed by the name of Hazara. Maybe there's a book by the name of The Kite Runner. It's a great book from an Afghan American author that describes it really sad and beautiful at the same time. And it's really hard growing up in that community, in the school, because of my accent. When I grew up, my mom was living in Ghazni, and when she came to Kabul, she had this Hazargi accent, and at home, others were speaking Dari, like Kabul accent, but I used to speak my mom's accent. And even in the school, at the first grade and second grade, it was really hard for me to like to talk with others, communicate with others. And it was, I remember the times that I was coming home crying that I don't want to continue studying. Like at home, this was one of the biggest like divisions in my life that always were there, even before I was born until now, that in the late 1800s, around 62% of our ethnicity was massacred, misplaced, and that's really sad. And the thing is that we all here, like all of our students, all of the mentors that joined today, we're all Hazaras, and I believe that other girls also have the same experience. And besides being a girl in Afghanistan, being a Hazara was cutting most of the opportunities in our life. And later, but I believe that it didn't only make us stop, but also helped us to grow more as the pine tree, and much more resilient and much more stronger than ever. And I guess maybe other mentors can continue. So that was about my part. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
Thank you. We just wanted the introduction, and it's open table after that. But thank you. That was emotional.
Yeah.
Really emotional. Zahra?
Another example of tribalism, in one country.
Yeah, in one country. One. Zahra, do you want to introduce yourself?
I would like to say hello again, and I'm so happy to be here. Actually, this was one of my dreams. I would like to hear if you do have my voice well. So, yeah, do you have my voice well so I can continue?
I never picked that up. Juan, did you pick it up on your side?
No.
Hi, Zahra, can you repeat yourself, please?
Do you have my voice well? I guess
Voice
not.
level?
Okay,
Uh,
one minute.
That's
Do you have the voice level, Kino?
yeah, we
No, I
have
can
your
hear. I
voice
can hear. I can
well.
hear now. Yeah, I can hear now. Yeah.
Okay, good, good. Okay, I'm so happy to be here, to be with you all. Actually, this was one of my dreams to be here. As far as teacher Yasamine talked, we Afghan girls have big dreams and in a very small environment, I can say. So my name is Zahra. It's an Arabian name, which is actually a symbol of light, sun, and candle, which shows the way, actually. So right now I live in Pakistan alone without my family, and that has been one of my difficulties of 2025. So what I would like to say about my background is that I saw a person, an Afghan woman. It's a very strong name for me, Afghan woman. I saw an Afghan woman who was my mother, starting from nothing to become one of the most effective people of Afghanistan, who was able to help lots of other women in Afghanistan. So I would say that I can be a very good example of one of those girls who was helped by another Afghan girl, I could say, or Afghan woman. And I was I guess 5 years ago. I was studying at Kaaj, not this Kaaj, but the Kaaj that was not being under any explosion or being attacked yet. I was studying math, I was studying physics, and I was exploring the world in my books. But after a very sad day, that I remember that day clearly, that college was attacked in a Friday when the girls and boys were having, I think, an exam. I was not able to go there anymore. Girls were not allowed to go, or no one was allowed to go for some time. After a while, I found this couch, which was built on the couch that were being attacked, and I found that we can rise up again. We can rise up from nothing. So couch was a great example of that. And my background is all about how we grow, about how we stand up and rise and uh, show ourselves. So Kaj is exactly a great symbol of Afghan girls and Afghan women.
Hmm.
Thank you.
We can
Wow.
rise up again. What a wonderful
Yeah.
slogan.
Can. Hi, Zohal.
Yeah, hey everyone. I hope you're doing well. It's a pleasure that tonight I'm in this session with you all guys.
Thank you
And
for
so,
being here. You want to introduce yourself, share a bit of
Yeah,
background history?
yeah, sure. So this is Zohal Mutmain, a 19 years old girl from Kabul, Afghanistan. Uh, Before Taliban took over the control of Afghanistan, I was ninth grade at school. But after that, unfortunately, Afghan girls couldn't continue their education both at schools and at universities. But my story was not done there. Um, I started my, for example, education at AUF, American University of Afghanistan, in an online platform that was for Afghan girls to continue their education. And hopefully, last year I graduated from school. So currently, I'm an undergraduate student at American University of Afghanistan, and beside that, I'm studying comparative politics at American University of Central Asia. It is about more than 1 year that I'm a student at Koch. So, of course, this organization brought something in my life that I have never, for example, thought about this. Unfortunately, my sister Shukriya Mutmain was one of the victim at Koch attack. So, of course, it was like a tragic in my life that I lost my sister, the one who supported me every time. She was not only my sister in my life, of course, she was like a friend, a guider, a teacher, or maybe a pattern in my life. So during the past 2 years, of course, it was much more difficult for me to not think about that, for example, evidence. Um, and of course, it was completely hard for me and for those girls that they lost their friends, families, and yeah, something related to that. But I'm a lucky girl that I made Cod family in 2024 because again, Cod um, became the reason that I survived from what I was living for. And yeah, beside these things, Mahnaz and I are the founders of a nonprofit organization that the aim of our organization is to help Afghan girls to continue their education in many different subjects. And the aim of, as I told you about the aim, so the reason or why we could create this organization, it comes from the Kaaj organization. It means, yeah, because we aspired from the Koch families like teacher Julia, Sahi Atoy, and others, even Yasamine here. So yeah, we got the aspiration from Koch, and yeah, more than 300 students currently they are studying in many different, for example, classes like English, computer, digital literacy, art, and also we are providing some workshops like writing for girls to, for example, learn more things. And I would like to add one more thing here that this year, about 4 students from our organization got an acceptance letter from different universities, and now they are studying some, for example, fields in some countries that they got the scholarship. And yeah, it was all about my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And
thank
congrats to those students, Wow.
If Zohal, if I could just ask a very quick question, you're in Kabul. You say your Kaaj is serving about 300 students. I think Yasamine, you said 95% of those are in Afghanistan. How are you managing this, given the ferocious opposition of the Taliban government?
So our students, as it's online, we don't have any office or something in Afghanistan, but they all study kind of hidden from the government. And in our social media and in our database, we do all our best to regarding their privacy. And it's really hard, and we're struggling with many other problems that are counted basic needs and basic things that people around the world has, like internet, that it's really hard. And we have like students, Kabul is for in for students that we have in Kabul, it's much easier compared to students that we have in far village. And we had students in the village, Daikundi, which is the farthest village in Afghanistan. And they're like, we had a student that she was studying, and we, the classes, most of the time they cannot join in the class like in the exact time. So we always record the class and put it in the Google Classroom, and they come later, like after 1 day or 2 days that they have their internet connection or electricity. Or for that student that I mentioned, like she was going to the mountain with some ship, like taking them to the mountain, and in there, like she was trying to connect to internet, and she was checking everything, and then the next day coming and sending the pictures of the homeworks and everything. It's really amazing, and although it's hard, but it's really amazing how they do it.
I really want to hold my I just have one quick question, and we'll get on with the introductions. Is it dangerous for you to do this?
I would think so.
Well, the thing is that it depends. If it is dangerous, if they check it and they go for it, it can be much serious thing. But in the currently, like those who are outside of Afghanistan, we're not going. Like it's my second year, so we're not going back to Afghanistan. Currently, like we're just staying in Bishkek or wherever we are during summers, and it can be dangerous, but I guess it's worth the risk. Even if like you teach 1 or 2 person can learn something from you, I think my whole life can be that. I don't mind.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we have Benafsha to introduce herself, I believe.
Hi, Benafsha.
We may have lost her. She'll come back.
Yeah.
When we talk about danger for women in Afghanistan, what would be the consequences? You know, if I don't know, somebody turned you in. This girl is online and taking courses. What would the consequences be? Would it be? I mean, would there actually be police on your doorstep, or what would be the outcome of that?
Now it's open table. Anyone can jump in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And give a response. Yeah. I just need to bring, after this question, I'll bring Mahnaz, who is in the waiting room.
Okay.
To check if, can get an introduction. But anyone who wants to answer Don's question, go for it.
So, Zahra, if you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, please. I would express my opinion later.
Okay. So there are women activists. There are still some centers that are open but hidden from the government, and when they are paying some money, I believe, to the current government, or they do it hidden. Like there are some schools that girls do not wear uniforms, and they go to schools, or some centers that they learn English, computer, or some other subjects. But and if they have like some fines if they find out, it's most of the time it varies. You know, there is not like a rule or regulation really clear that you can see there. It can start from like some fines, like 1 week jail, up to like jail forever, or I don't know, like having I don't know what we call it in English actually, like having they decide suddenly to just kill it in the like maybe street. So it depends. You never know, I guess.
Depends on the nature of the act. Like,
yeah, maybe it depends on which group you're dealing with, and what's their mood, maybe. So yeah,
I got to, like, I mean, what is the issue? You know, maybe let's bring some light to that, you know, for listeners as well. What is the issue with ladies, women, young girls, and education? Is this
what's our problem with that?
Cultural perspective from them? Is it old school, you know, way of thinking? What is the issue, you know?
Zahra, do you want to answer?
Yeah. Anyone can talk, you know. Anyone can talk.
Yeah. So for the first one, about the consequence of girls studying and their education is actually a little bit dependent on their ethnicity as well, because I have seen many other girls, they were being found in other schools, or we can say home schools, that they were studying, but because they were not Hazara, they were able to let go, so they could go home. But in Afghanistan, unfortunately, we do see lots of people being bitten by stones because of studying. That's one of the very common one, that they are being stoned or bitten by stones, in the streets. It's very simple, because they study, or they are girls, or mostly they are Hazara. No matter if they are girls or boys or women, it does not matter. So the fact that we cannot study, and why do Taliban does not allow, is mostly dependent. Actually, it's about religion as well, which I am eager not to talk about religious stuff, because I myself am not Muslim, so it may be a little bit tough for other Afghan girls. But there are many reasons. One of them is religion. The other one is that they think of Afghan girls' safety, because most of them live in far villages, and they say that this is not safe for them to go to schools. But these are all just reasons that they bring, because back before Taliban government, we had other girls. They were going to schools in even far villages, and they were safe. So this is not the reason that we want to hear. And they do not have a specific reasons. They just do, and they do have the power, and their power is violation. So we can't say anything.
Yeah, thank you very much. I guess we have to get the religion in there. I worked in a Muslim country in West Africa, and there was opposition to girl education there too. But one of my colleagues, who was Muslim and African, brought in imams who pointed out that there's nothing in the Quran that prohibits education for girls. That as you say, this is an excuse used by some elements to oppress women. It's not essential to the religion, but it can be used, like so many religions, not just Islam. Christianity and any other religion can be used in oppressive ways. It's interesting.
But the interesting thing is also like that they do not have a good information of religion as well, because the interesting thing is that it's really visible even in Islam. Like the first word that in Quran that was said to our prophet was Iqra. Iqra means read, and there's nothing like man should read or woman should read. It's just read.
That's interesting.
And I don't know, God didn't clarify it, maybe. So, and another thing is that I don't think that an educated woman grown up a terrorist, I'd say. And the biggest enemy for them, like the time that they took over Afghanistan, and there were so many times that women were more than men. They were in the streets shouting for their rights for education, rights for work, and I even would say that they can be scared of women, because it's like, growing up children in Afghanistan, it's more up to women, and educated women, they do not grow up or treat their child to be terrorists.
Interesting.
Yeah. Zohal, do you want to share anything on the topic?
Yeah, of course. So since I'm living in Kabul, so most probably I can see the result of their rules here. So as Yasamine and also Zahra mentioned, it is like uh, like a rule that we are breaking in Afghanistan. It means if a girl is studying in an online course, it is the opposite of their rules. And I'm completely sure if they know about this, of course, they will arrest uh, girls from
So,
their home. And of course, it happens. For example, uh, 3 years ago, we heard in a news that they arrested two girls and one boy in Daikundi because of studying and teaching for Afghan girls in an online courses. So of course it was like, wow, what is the problem? So if you cannot let us to continue our education in a person, so let us to continue in, for example, online courses or virtually. But of course they don't know about these things, and because they are uneducated people, of course. And one more thing that I would like to share is that in Afghanistan currently, in every home, there are more than two girls that they are studying their courses, their schools, or even universities by online courses. And I'm completely sure that they cannot arrest all girls and the women from their home. And I'm completely sure that it is impossible. And yeah, but it is very, for example, hard to continue our education beside devices, because sometimes when we are continuing our studies beside devices for more than 3 hours, it is really difficult. Sometimes we are depressed, we are daisy, we don't know what will happen in the future. So yeah, our destiny is unclear for us. And beside that, about the arresting girls, or even those who that they are for human rights, it means supporting human rights. Most probably, they arrest them and they keep them to stay in jail, especially women and girls who are, for example, louding their voice for their rights. We hear that most of girls who are in jails, they are, for example, beaten by belts, uh, guns, and also they are, for example, we can say, encroached by Taliban as well. And it is not, for example, something new. We knew that in the first time that Taliban took over the control of Afghanistan, they did this action. They encroached to women. They, for example, they got married with some girls forcibly. And of course, it is not a new thing. But of course, for girls and women, it is really hard to continue their education in online, especially when Taliban know about this, because of course they need to check their privacy, especially if they are arrested by Taliban, being in jail. It can be a big problem, especially in, for example, having or being in a traditional, for example, homes. For example, when Taliban started arresting girls um, for their hijab, most probably the families, um, for example, banned, or they, for example, didn't let their girls to go outside. And one of those girls was me. For example, my father didn't let me to go outside and continue my education in many courses and also teach students. So of course, it can be like a difficult part for girls to go outside, especially when they have traditional, for example, tradition families, and arresting by Taliban can be another problem for Afghan girls and women in Afghanistan. Yeah.
you used a
Wow.
term. You said they're, that they're afraid of you louding your voice, and I love that. There's a book, I call that about, and louding your voice. That speaking your voice, making it loud, being heard, is obviously that terrifies these guys, and not just all around the world. I mean, women are often right; their voice is suppressed. It scares me. Women are
Yeah.
scared. Women are powerful. They're independent.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they fall into line. Come on.
And they know that,
I
right?
just
They
wanted
know
to
that.
You
add
know,
one more sentence. Yeah, one more sentence. That there is a slogan between Afghan women and girls that Taliban are afraid of educated women and girls, and I'm completely agree. I completely agree with this slogan and this sentence.
a good
If we look
man.
at the world, it's actually global. Women are powerful, and unfortunately, men, Zohal has no filter, they're uneducated. So because I'm uneducated, why should I allow my wife or my girlfriend to be educated? Right?
It's easier to
You know?
control an uneducated woman.
Yeah, exactly.
So the
Exactly.
thing is that humans, it's our nature to be afraid of the things that we are not familiar with. Like once they're familiar with that, like in our history from time to time, we experience that when you do not know something, if it's an animal, if it's uh, now like recently there are a lot of discussions about AI. Like when we are not really familiar with something, it's our nature to be scared of that. And sometimes I also feel really sorry about them that there are so many of them like 17, 16, or even younger that they're also victim of this uh, not having education and being in a wrong uh, environment, or being uh, having no one that can support you. Like their mom also cannot raise their voice because they also cannot say anything. They're not educated. They don't know where to reach or ask for help. That's also one of the main things in the far village when they live. Like there's no organization, nothing to help them, and it's really difficult for them as well. And when I get further, and when you're seeing another side of the story, the way they think, it's everything about that side. Also, like about the leaders, they are educated. Like our president, our uh, the I don't know, Zulmay Khalzad. He was the representative of U.S. to Afghanistan. He was also Afghan, and the leader of Taliban. Three of them studied in the same university, and there are some of them that their daughters are studying outside, but they are also controlling another group that they also don't know what they're doing with their lives, and I feel really bad about them as well.
Well, I was going to say we're kind of lumping men together, but I'm sure there are many Afghani men who oppose this ban on female education as well. Is that true? And if it is there some movement to affect changes within the government policy?
So in it depends on region to region, and also like ethnicity to ethnicity. For Hazara, they're like mostly they support their women, and I'm here because of my father and my brother. Like they helped me a lot. My uncles and all of them, they were always there for me, helped me finding so many resources. But in some families, yes, there. It's one thing that we usually say here. Um, Talis is not a group; it's an ideology now in Afghanistan, which is
Yeah.
in part like it's even if they're not completely that person. There are some times that you can see that person, that side of the person growing and showing that more visibly. And um, I believe that it again comes back to education, that struggle inside themselves when they don't know which part is good for their daughters, and they're struggling with both sides. Even if maybe my father also would have a little bit of that side because of his life experience, because of many things in the society that he feels it would be for my safety. But deep down, the roots are many things, like the biggest thing that again comes to education.
Okay.
We haven't
I just
heard.
want to check in on Benafsha.
How's it going,
Benafsha, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm sorry. At the beginning, my internet was really
Bring
bad and your
on
voice was breaking.
Mahnaz.
I couldn't even see the video.
Not sure.
But right now,
Hi, Mahnaz.
I'm trying to unmute her at this end, but I can't
No, yeah, she's muted on that end.
at that end.
Oh, and yeah, not on our end. Could be network. Okay, let's try.
said that she has some problems connecting.
Okay, thank you.
Back now.
Benafsha, hi.
Yeah, hi.
You can hear us now?
Hi, Benafsha. Do you want to
Yes, I'm hearing
share
you
an
well.
introduction about yourself?
Okay, so I just prepared a really short introduction. My name is Benafsha. I'm 17 years old, and ever since schools were closed in Afghanistan, I started learning English. There was this academy called Zohal, and my older brother was a teacher there. He was teaching English, and so I also got a chance to study English and learn a new language. And it was through this that I got into an organization called IPO, who were giving girls, I don't know, a chance to train in interpersonal skills, to learn teamwork and leadership. And through our headmaster's connections, I also was introduced to Mr. Abdullah because he once gave us a lecture about all sorts of scholarships and opportunities. And then through my connections to Mr. Abdullah, I got into Kaaj in the 2024 cohort. I was a student. I learned so many things. I also made a lot of friends, and it was also after I graduated from college that I became a facilitator. I work in college as a volunteer with Zahra, Zohal, and Mahnaz, and we every week at Fridays we have programs. It's resiliency skill. We help girls to learn something new, to manage their emotions, and in these very dark times to be emotionally and mentally healthy. And I gotta say that it was actually college that really brightened my life, that brought the hope that I really needed. And right now I'm studying programming languages and web designing on top of graphic design. It was it was then that I found that even though I cannot go to school, even though I'm a like living in Iran, I'm outside of Afghanistan, I'm forced to live under very harsh environment, and I face discrimination, I face all sorts of negative things. I still have this like chance to follow what I want, to have a passion. That was why, even though I have problems, I don't know, with my PC, like I had to buy a new PC. It really cost me a lot of money. I have very big internet problems sometimes, and sometimes I don't have the energy. Sometimes I face many illnesses because of using too much digital devices. I am still following my desire to study, to educate, because even though the present is very unclear and sometimes it's very dark, sometimes I'm very depressed, the future might change, and I'm just hanging on to this very faint hope that things might change. So this is how I'm trying to go on right now.
Well, what courage you're showing. And you're currently in
I'm
Iran.
designing,
And
this.
you talk about depression. My God, I mean, it makes so much sense. a depressing situation. But the fact that you're fighting against it, that's the inspiration, that's the hope, that's the energy. Every one of you, you're resisting. You're not succumbing, and I just find that really inspiring. It's amazing, all of you, incredible.
Everyone has, a strong mindset going on. Focused. There's so much desire, and that desire is backed up by faith. And once desire is backed up by faith, you're unstoppable. You're really unstoppable. Anything you can think of up here, anything you can visualize is going to become a reality. It's just.
There's a lot of resistance. So, I mean, anyway, I just find, what these folks are up against, the whole system of oppression that seems to be, I personally am depressed about the situation, the global situation, and how little I feel I can do about it, whether it's in Gaza or in the United States. But you folks are grappling with it right on the front lines. And I can't tell you, how inspiring I find it, moving. Benafsha, I just want to ask you a quick question. We don't usually think of Iran as the ideal refuge for women. Can you, I'm being somewhat sarcastic there, can you contrast the attitudes that you face in Iran to what you faced in Afghanistan?
Okay, so the situations cannot really be compared, because in Afghanistan right now, women are forced to be hidden. They're forced to not express themselves. In Iran, we might be able to wear the clothes we want, go where we want, be the person we want, but it's the feeling of not belonging to a place that truly makes you sad. For example, here I go outside whenever I want. I buy everything I want. I eat anything I want out in the open. People do not judge me, but it's the feeling that it's not my home. It's not a place I belong that truly makes me sad. For example, and it's also very, I don't know, enraging that here, although we are refugees, although they understand that we do not really have a choice, but they still do not give us educational opportunities. They do not enroll Afghan girls and boys, no matter their gender, into their schools, into their universities. I had my little sister go to a school, a very, I don't know, prestigious school. It was a little famous, but they decided to turn us down. And that is how now my little sister and me are forced to study in online courses.
Wow. Anybody else want to contribute to this really incredible discussion? I think, we're really talking about what are the worms that are eating at the rind of the earth. We're all waiting for the world to become good, because we know it can be, right? We know it can be a better place. And here we, and all of you are working, devoting your lives to making it a better place. And that's again, it's for all of us who know the world can be a better place and see all the reasons it isn't. It's so frustrating, but you guys are out there doing it. Any thoughts about how we can work more globally toward? I mean, I think about, I'm talking when you guys are talking about women being excluded. I mean, the term "women hold up half the sky," but you also think about the brilliance of women, whether in engineering or science, or all that's being lost to your society. That your potential contributions are being strangled by this very ossified, antiquated, as Benafsha said, regime that is losing its future for the sake of the oppression of women. I mean, it makes no sense.
So, I was thinking about that like the past week, and there are no other thing coming to my mind. Like I was thinking about different sides of the story in Afghanistan, about my life, about so many other people out there, and all the time I was coming up to one solution, and it was education, education, education. And I believe that it can solve the problem. It can create, like, it's not only about education when we say like going to school, but later on about creating the mindset of people, building economic and uh, social equality around the world. And it can make this division by wealth, by uh, so many other things, much less and less. When you're educated, you let other people, you give the opportunity, you include them, you are more curious, the more education you get, uh, the more eager you would be to uh, find more, to get more. And uh, I guess we need that curiosity in so many other places, and to let other people join. Like when I came to Kyrgyzstan at the beginning, I was coming to this mindset of having so many friends, or uh, like being around and having a much diverse group. But when I came here, like they're mostly from Central Asia, and the main thing that connects them is their language. But the biggest thing for us is the language barrier. And I found it really difficult to connect with them, especially with the background that we come. Like, I noticed that the first time I came here, I was like 19, and I was feeling like I, I, I was feeling much older than my age in that class.
Okay.
And because I'm feeling that I experienced much, and I haven't noticed it back in Afghanistan, but then when I traveled really shortly and to come to Bishkek, first going to Iran and then here, I noticed that it made us so different, and all these experiences kind of uh, made us feel older, like
Sure, yeah.
compared to our age. And here at the beginning, it was really hard for me. I was connecting, but then noticing that there are so many differences, so many stereotypes, misinformation there. And at the beginning, many of my friends were like, my classmates, that uh, look. You don't look Afghan, and they already had this image of Afghan, because although they're not following a lot of like news or the pages, but they already had this image. And uh, even before interacting with an Afghan girl before, and it's really interesting for me. And then, especially, they do not know much about Hazaras. And then the interesting thing was that there were so many things that made us like divide us, but in the same time, there are like really simple things deep down, but again connecting us. Like, I noticed that I didn't know that before, but when I come here, I noticed that we are also like Kyrgyz and Kazakh people. We are also uh, like Turkish Mongolian, but we are mixed of Persian people in the area. And I was finding like really simple, like some words in the middle of their words when they were speaking, not Russian, but Kyrgyz maybe, and some words that it was like so old that in the village they speak far village of Hazaras. And it was really interesting. Or some games, like it was connecting us so much when I was interested to play the same game that we have in the village. And I was finding those even simple games, or some food, and that was really interesting. And this curiosity later made me curious to connect with someone. And sometimes, because of those already created stereotypes, we do not let other people to enter the group sometimes, or we do not talk to them, we do not get close to them. But then when we do not have those stereotypes, I have my friend now. Like, now she's so close with me. She's Kyrgyz, and that's why, I guess, because she's not following like social media news a lot, and she had much like less this idea of how Afghan thing works, and I started talking with her, and I found it really interesting to talk to her because there are things that made it hard for us to communicate, but at the same time, it's hard when you're talking about someone from your own nationality. Sometimes I was realizing that because there is more possibility of being judged, but I was feeling more myself when I was talking to her, and I think it comes when you include other people. And there are times that when we were talking and someone else was speaking English, like a girl from Pakistan, and she was like trying to avoid, or she didn't know what to do, but she could hear it, and I was like, you're also studying here. Sometimes this uh, inclusion, including people and including yourself with their pain, their point of view, including them in your world, it helps you to feel at one. It's like at the first when you started with the poem, and I was thinking there's another poem from a Persian speaking poet that we really love back in Afghanistan and in Iran. I have the English version here. I can read it for you. It's really deep, and I really love it myself. And we use it even sometimes like as a proverb, or in Afghanistan, people really like poems. So they usually say that to each other. And I've heard it many times in school from my family. It says that human beings are members of a whole, in creation of one essence and soul. If one member is afflicted with pain, other members uneasy will remain. If you have no sympathy for human pain, the name of human you cannot retain. So I really love this, and I really love the Persian one more because I always feel it feels so poetic to me. And in this poem, during the years from much younger age, we were told by our parents, by our teachers, to feel other people's pain. And I guess we also, I want to say that through this here, that if girls in Afghanistan do not have education, it should be a pain to all of us, like for all of us. And because it's one part of our soul, one part of our body, because we're as a whole. And yeah.
That's a remarkable statement and a lovely poem. Maybe you could send that to us later. We'd like to put it up.
Yeah, sure.
But if you can't feel someone else's pain, then you don't deserve to be a human, to be called a human. Isn't that? I mean, I didn't get it exactly right, but that idea, that's an essential part of who we are. And if we've lost that, then we've lost our humanity somehow. We have as you probably know, Elon Musk has recently said that empathy is the downfall of Western civilization. Empathy, feeling for others. And that's precisely the opposite of what you're saying. That empathy is the heart of being human, the very essence of being human. And when you're talking about the fact that there's differences, but the similarities, like the pain may be different specifically, but we all experience pain. And if we can see that in each other and help each other, the commonalities that we have, I think is ultimately the way we override our differences. And that's a lovely statement that you made. But and then I think in the context of you lovely women, wonderful women here, and then these guys that are in charge of your government are showing no empathy for your pain. Bastards.
And I remember that there was once in a news, even I heard that there was a woman. I do not remember which country, she could not feel the pain like in her body. And I was thinking the whole day, is it good? Is it bad? At the beginning, I was thinking maybe it's good. But then I was remembering that when you do not feel a pain, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right? So it
there for a
gets
reason.
stronger and stronger until it kills you. So there are so many pains in our humanity as a whole that maybe we do not feel, maybe we do not care, but it comes to us. It's just sometimes about the timing.
You know, as you know, pain from a biological point of view alerts your body to the fact that there's something wrong, that your body needs to react to stop the pain. And you know, so if we've, you know, as a society, as a species, if we can feel other people's pain, it tells us there's something wrong. We need to fix this as a species, as a world. And so, you know, I love what you're saying. Now, has Mahnaz just joined us?
Yeah, just brought to you now. Hi, Mahnaz.
Oh, she didn't like your look.
I was chatting to her. She says, my VPN just disconnects every 2 minutes. So while we chat, keep trying.
Yeah, right. It's just, you know, everybody has such. Well, the other thing I'm just blown away by is you know, how articulate, not articulate, but in English, which is probably your second and third language. My God, that's
Yeah.
I've been working on Spanish for 3 years, and I can't even say "How are you?" So I mean, I'm just really, I'm really impressed. So
if we look at, I can even like reference South Africa, you know, where English is first language in a home, but I mean, a good percentage of the population are not as good as our guests here today. Honestly speaking, it just shows you, you know, there is no excuse. There is no excuse to go out there and try to go out there and learn, make a plan, find a way. There is no excuse, you know.
And sometimes that when I like in our second cohort, we had a girl from the Kaaj attack that she lost her eye, and in this cohort we also have the student who's totally blind, and she didn't tell us at the beginning, and I was really shocked when I heard that, and I was feeling like maybe the teacher mistaken or something. Maybe she has some problem with her eyesight, but how she can be like fully blind and still can continue the lessons very well, even more than some other people that they're not maybe sending homework. But when I was checking her assignments or attendance, it was really good, and I was really amazed by that. And she was using the, you know, maybe we have never noticed, but there are some parts in our computer or phone that read the screen, or she was using some platforms to read or describe the pictures that she's facing, and she was using social media. She was really confident using that. And when asking her, she was like, the spirit, that was amazing. Like, I had the discussion with her today, and she's like, everything is great, like my family is helping me and I'm looking for opportunities, I'd get a scholarship. And sometimes I actually started my working in college with this mindset that I would be an inspiration for these girls because I lived in that situation, and maybe when they see me out, like it can help them somehow to be motivated when they're down or something. But then I noticed that I was thinking, and then I noticed that, oh my God, they are struggling much more than me, and they're a bigger inspiration and motivation for me. So all of them are so many amazing girls, and there are so many other things in the background of what you see or the world shows.
Hi,
Sorry,
Mahnaz.
I was going to say Mahnaz is on. Maybe we should get her while.
Yeah, I want to give her the floor, before we lose her again. Hi, Mahnaz.
Hi everyone. I hope you have my voice because the page refreshes every 2 minutes and I have to just like connect my VPN again and come back here.
Okay.
Okay, so the time that we do have with you, do you want to give us a brief introduction about yourself?
Do you have my voice?
Yeah, we do now.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
okay.
perfect.
I'm glad. So, what did you ask me? Sorry, I couldn't catch the question.
It's okay. I just, do you want to give us a brief introduction of yourself, where you're coming to us from? While you were in the waiting room, I'm not sure if you heard any of the conversation, but if you did, you can touch on it, share your opinion.
Yeah, sure. So, I'm Mahnaz, a 17-year-old girl from Afghanistan, and I'm a Hazara, and I'm a graphic designer, football player. Of course, I was a national team player, and after the regime change,
It's interesting. So many of you are Hazara. Is that accidental, or is that because there's a particular value in Hazara culture for education? Maybe more equality for women among the Hazara?
I guess because the Hazara ethnicity is less conservative and they support their daughters much more. Like, for example, in our family, my mom always used to tell us that, tell our family that your brother can do whatever in Afghanistan. He can work, he can like have a shop or something, but you need to study and we need to do everything for you to do something with your life. So
Well,
I guess in so many families they do
No
that.
wonder they
in
try to
Hazara.
wipe you out. And with an attitude like that, they can't have people like that around. And in the Peshwa and so forth. Okay. So is Mahnaz still on or not?
I told her she can talk without video because that's still fine.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Hi, Mahnaz, can you hear me?
Looks like her audio is still off. Oh.
Yeah.
And is Mahnaz in Afghanistan?
Yeah,
She's
she
in
is.
Iran.
Yeah.
She's in Iran as well.
Yeah, and the thing
God,
is
I
that
just
she, besides
Oh, sorry.
internet connection and electricity, she also has some problems, I guess, with VPN because she is not allowed to have access to this platform, to some most of the platforms without VPN.
No, and I just have to admire the drive,
Good Lord.
from everyone. Like, wow, come on.
Boy,
Like, what everyone is working through just to get education, just to be here, to share their opinion and their voice. Wow.
I guess the only thing that works in this country is ourselves. Like only these girls, not the electricity, not the connection.
One way for Mahnaz.
I love that.
Like, I see everyone on the panel today as future leaders.
Yes.
In some way or form, whether it be with an NGO, whether it be in public office, whether it be in the private sector, but definitely leaders who are going to lead, women of the present and girls of the present and of the future as well. So we don't want this mandate of ours just to be like, let's discuss the issues and what's going on. But let's also talk about the solutions, what we can all do together globally to keep building this momentum. So I know all of you probably have ideas and solutions of the future, but you can't implement it now because there's so much red tape. But what is your plan, your personal plan that you want to share with us? You know,
if you want to share
can,
one.
you can start with, okay, Yasmin, start with you.
Maybe Zahra can answer that. I believe that I talked.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, of course. I was thinking about this for years because I did have a chance to think of it, because after Taliban, I was homesick. I was at home in my country, but I was homesick because I was not able to go out. So I did have a chance to think, to read, to watch other people how they live. So one of the most important books that I have read was The Light of the Ashes from Zahra, one of the greatest women of Afghanistan. That she said, in order to have educated women in Afghanistan, you have to educate men in Afghanistan. And that was like a light for me, something that I was able to think of it. And I can say a plan as well. So I started my online studies, and then after studying English, I started teaching English. I was able to at least teach elementary English classes, and it was only for Afghan girls, especially in a province called Daikundi. You might have heard this name a lot in this meeting, because this province is really a backward province. Like, I have students even right now after 2 years. I still teach voluntarily there, and I do have the students that they're going to mountains with their children. I mean, they are women at the age of 25, 26. They do have 2 or even sometimes 3 children, and they go to mountains in a specific time to join my classes. So as well as that, I started having male students as well. So to educate men in order to have educated women, and that was the plan. That was what I was thinking of, and I think we're doing good right now, educating men as well. And my plan is, of course, to study abroad as well, as I am doing. And luckily, when I started studying online, I was grade 9. I was not able to go to any school, but right now, 1 month later, I do have a flight to go to Indonesia and start my journey of studying visual communication design at the university.
Great.
And I want to do the same. I want to give the same opportunity to other girls and even boys of Afghanistan. I mean, men and women of Afghanistan. So we do have a good mindset of gender equality. And my plan is, of course, entering UN, and that is a very long journey, but I do believe in that 100%. So I can offer more opportunities to Afghan people to educate themselves.
Combining Yasamine's commitment to education and yours to an understanding that you also have to educate men to the reality of a more plural society and the equality of women and what enormous strengths they bring to a society, and not to be afraid, of it, and instead embrace it, and value it and love it. I think that's so admirable, because I hate to say it, but the problem isn't with the women, it's with the men. So if you're going to solve the problem, it's going to be in part, due to changing the attitudes and values of the men. Wonderful, wonderful.
Don, you should have been a
Thank you so
poet.
much.
A poet?
Yeah, there was actually a poem you just shared with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've noticed
Play the
many
recording
times.
afterwards.
All right, we'll work on it. Anyway, just such wonderful.
Yeah.
But Mahnaz is back on, but she can't hear us, I guess. Still.
Yes, so okay, we can hear Zohal or Yasmin want to share your future
been on for an
plans.
hour 20 minutes. I mean, this is the most marvelous discussion. I don't mean just on our podcast. I just mean generally that I've had in here. And so I want to thank you all for that. It's been glorious, as they say, and just so moving. And to have like these incredible women here, and like as Kino said, I mean, the whole bunch of you could just kind of move into the leadership from president down in Afghanistan. The place would be run perfectly. Everything would be fine. I can just, you guys decide which positions you want to take, but then, you run it. I think you do a marvelous job. You're really incredible. Somebody there, I think Yasmin can be the Minister of Education for sure. Zahra is going to be the Minister of Education for men. That's the most critical thing. Oh, God.
I see Zohal as being like one of the loudest activists ever to walk this earth.
And we want to get this out so people can hear your stories and share, feel as inspired as we do. And to know, I mean, I have to admit that when I think of Afghanistan, Yasmin, you talked about stereotypes. I didn't think about a particular look, but I certainly had this sense of just this locked in society where, and I know it is to some extent, but you're operating within those limitations. You're not accepting them as like, you're not locked in a safe, you're breaking out of it. You're breaking out of jail and you're making things happen there. And I think for other people to hear that, that you're not just accepting the status quo, you're fighting it, you're resisting it. And gosh, you have so many more reasons to give up, but you don't. And so many people who just say, oh, what can I do about it? You're saying there's something you can do about it. Do what you can. Do what you can. Good.
This conversation
from Mahnaz.
Yeah, this conversation is a huge wake-up call for everyone around the world, especially first world countries. Like, what are you really living for? What are you fighting for? What is the purpose of your life? We complain, not more than we show gratitude. But here we are. You're special individuals who are really giving their all, literally their all, to make something of their life, while still trying to actually give back. Selfless acts.
Incredible.
Educate myself so I can educate the next. That is the correct mentality. And we should live by that. Seriously. Not for ourselves. But yeah, we get in there. Mahnaz, do you want to continue?
Can you hear us? Can you? Oh, good. She can talk.
Yes, I can finally see you and hear you clearly.
I'm going to turn your mic up.
I'm talking. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. So you can continue. Okay. You were giving us an introduction about yourself.
I know. I'm very
Okay, should I start from the scratch, like from the
beginning?
No,
you can continue from anywhere.
So I was saying that I was a football player in the national team of Afghanistan and the women's, of course, and the previous regime. And I'm a graphic designer. I do some volunteer work for some organizations to make some posters, to raise awareness for women's rights and other things. And I'm not sure if Zohal John mentioned or not, but we both are the founders of an online association that helps both genders in Afghanistan to empower them in this generation and also in the next generation by helping them like fulfill their dreams by finding their full potential. I think that's all you can know about me.
Nice. Graphic designer.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
Short but powerful.
Everyone. Honest.
So what do you design? I'm curious. What do you design? Like, besides posters, like you...
I mostly design some posters, like creative posters. And I've made some posters about the events that took place in the past 3 years in Afghanistan. Of course, the restrictions for women, and I made a poster of them, explained each event in details in posters, and then shared them on LinkedIn, Instagram, and I think it went viral among the Afghans in Afghanistan, and they somehow contacted me and appreciated my work, and it was something marvelous for me. Like I was feeling this pride in me that I did something good for my community.
Wow,
Wow.
that's great.
These guys sitting in government are really stupid, eh? Like,
You know,
a bunch of clowns. They can't even pick up on this, you know?
I mean, you guys, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. I mean, obviously, you're so much smarter than anybody else, but
Wow.
at the same time, they've got the power, right? They've got the guns, they've got the army, and
Yeah.
the police. But see, that's the thing about men, right?
Common education.
There's a certain physical superiority. They utilize that because they're terrified of women's power. And you
Yes.
guys are showing through your intelligence and your imagination, your creativity, your determination, that they probably have good reason to be afraid. And at least this bunch, who don't embrace your brilliance. Anyway, how wonderful, all of you.
And
I
the
hope
time
we can
flies
stay-
so fast.
Sorry, Yasmin.
Yeah, and I was mentioning that the time flies so fast. Like it's been like 1 hour and 30 minutes. And
It's incredible.
it's so nice to talk to you
Well, it's so
and
nice
hear
to
from all
talk to
the
you.
girls.
Oh my gosh.
Well, even though we running out of time, the connection between us is not going to end with
That's
this
right.
episode. We're going to continue to be in contact, bring everyone back, maybe a month from now, Donna will bring everyone back. We need to check up on each other. But which is what I want to do, after everyone, shares what their plans are. I just want to get some clarity on the Kaaj website. But maybe let's, move on to, okay, Zal, do you want to talk about, what's your plans currently, what you would love to do? It's in the pipeline.
Well, I mean, my story isn't interesting here. These guys' story is interesting, but I would like to say that we're creating within the our building team human is that we're building a panel of people that we would like to draw on. There's another woman that we're going to be bringing on soon who's working in Palestine, and and her team, most of her team is actually in Gaza. She's working for a Norwegian NGO. I mean, there's so many people, and interestingly, most women, who are doing such incredible things that we need to hear about, and that people need to hear about, and then you bring your reality to us. And I mean, I'd love to have some. I could see doing this again, but I could also see some of you joining a larger panel. I think there's all kinds of possibilities, but we don't want to lose touch with you. That's for sure.
Yeah. We can still, conclude with, Yasmin and Zal just sharing, their plans, what they would love to do if there wasn't so much red tape.
So, Mahnaz, what would you like to be doing in 5 years?
Where do you see Afghanistan in 5 years?
In 5 years, I
Okay.
see like I see the vision like it will change quite a lot because there are some changes the current government are bringing to Afghanistan, like construction or something related to that. I'm not very I do not have much knowledge about those things, but I'm sure that it will change quite a lot. And there's these restrictions that are forced against women right now will be removed completely, and I'm pretty sure about it because the women activists who are currently working and defending our rights in other countries will surely do something against this regime to um, take off the restrictions and to do something for us. I'm sure that women will not stay like this in Afghanistan, and they will fight for their rights just like we do right now, but in shadows. But after like a year or two, we will stay in the light and fight for for our rights, not with guns or armors, but with our pains and knowledge.
Nice.
Wow. Not in the shadow, but out in front. Well, if you guys are leading the way, I'd say there's a pretty good chance that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yasmin, what about you? Where do you see all of this in 5 years? What's currently going on?
You asking Yasamine?
Yasmin, yeah. Yasmin.
Yeah, okay, sorry. I thought you mentioned Zahra's name. One thing that I've noticed during these years is that when you don't have something, you know the value much more. And I believe that now most men and women understood the value of education in Afghanistan much more than like 4 or 5 years ago. And I believe that all of these girls that are studying online today, they're really trying to work hard. And if we're getting scholarships, so many other girls like me, if they're getting outside of Afghanistan, it doesn't mean that it's the end, but the beginning. And we will return much stronger. And we believe that things would change. The night, it's not always the night, the light is coming, the day is coming. And we not only hope, but we see that day. And that day we have better education system, even before the current government, before the republic, because even during that time our education system was outdated, and even around the world the education system has so many problems. And I believe that those people who are working, there are so many more people working for education for Afghanistan these days, and I believe that it can change a lot. And bringing all these updated sources from AI to many other things, it can help people to learn better and easier. So all of these sources will go back to Afghanistan much more stronger. And all those people, all those girls who try to fight in and study with having the ship in the mountain, bringing them to really far village, and also having their phone with low connection, they will one day leave that city. So I really see that day.
That's great. What a vision.
Yeah.
Did everybody have a chance to share?
Zohal? Yeah, Zohal can just share her vision.
Okay, so should I state my opinion about the changes in 5 years in Afghanistan, or about my plan? Yeah.
Your plan, mix it in with the vision, what you want to personally do.
Sure. So, like most of girls in Afghanistan, I hope to get a scholarship and continue my education in my dream university. But of course, it can be difficult to get the scholarship because of the documents that we need. But I'm completely sure that it comes true, because as we are trying a lot and we are working harder, so of course we will see the result as well. And about the future of Afghanistan in next 5 years, I can for example completely say that it can be changed, because we can see that there is a big difference between the first period of coming Taliban and the second period. So we can see that there are lots of differences here. In the past, or in the first period, women and girls didn't know how to continue their, for example, work responsibilities for themselves, for their rights. But now by education for themselves, and also by technology that we can see, women and girls in Afghanistan, they have access to internet, to technology, and I'm completely sure that in the next 5 years there will be lots of changes, both in, for example, education and something else. So we can also say that the mindset of Taliban will be changed because they are in the hardest part of their state or government, because all the countries over the world, they are not recognizing them as a government. And I'm completely sure that all these struggles and barriers that they have toward their governments causes that they, for example, bring some changes in their mindset about the education of girls and women and something else. And yeah, it is my idea.
Nice.
That's wonderful. Did we hear from Zahra?
Yeah, Zahra, we started off with.
Well, I think we should. I mean, no one's gonna. Well, they might because it's so intriguing. But as Yasmin said, time flies when you're having a good time. But it's been over an hour and a half, and it's a fantastic discussion.
We will definitely do another one.
And Kino is excellent. He's the production end of it, so he's gonna gussy it all up so it looks really nice, and then put it up so you and other people can access it. And that should be fairly soon, eh, Kino?
Yeah. No, it'll be this week. I want to get, okay, so if I go or any listener goes on to the Kaaj Education website and goes to get involved, become a partner. What is that about? I just need some clarity on that. Anyone can answer.
How can we help? How can people help? How can they contribute?
Yeah. Hi, Yasmin.
Yeah, sorry, I had to just move from my old place.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm gonna turn your mic up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I believe that I understood part of your sentence, but could you please repeat again?
Okay, so we're concluding now with this episode. So I just wanted to get clarity on, if I go to kaajeducation.org and I click on get involved to become a partner, what does that entail?
So you can, there are the contacts of the president of president, lead, co-lead of Kaaj Education. You can we have so many partners, and like not so many, but many partners, but you can contact and then I believe that you can have some meetings with the leading team and operation team, and that's it, I guess. And also there is another link for donation, maybe for donation part. Also, if someone is interested, they can take a look. And we also have the donation link in our website. Yeah.
That's great.
And there's also mentor, instructor, or register as a student. Anyway, all the information is there.
Yeah. Like if you want to be a mentor or a teacher, you can also reach out, and there are a lot of information. In case if something is not clear for you, you can reach out to the contact.
Yeah, 100%. You know what's one thing that is concerning, and Yasmin has mentioned AI. With AI, we also have the rise of blockchain and this whole new revolution that's taking place globally. Now we're trying to get people into the traditional educational system, when it comes to the subjects. Now, what about the subjects of the future? Because this technological change is already in play. So my opinion is that, while we're busy, trying to get people educated traditionally, we also need to fit in what's coming so we can prepare for the future, or they can prepare for the future as well.
I don't know if...
I'm sorry. have to leave. I think this is a wonderful discussion topic, but I have a 2:00 appointment. This is Eastern time. So I want to thank all of you personally so much. So grateful to you for joining us and for sharing your stories. It's not only made my day, it's made my year. So I really do appreciate it. And like I say, I look forward to talking to you again. Thank you so much.
Yeah, same.
Okay,
Thank you
thanks.
so much.
Okay, yeah, Yasmin, you can conclude with what you were going to say, and then we can end the show.
So about that part, the thing is that it's not the only thing that Kaaj is doing, and it's just the beginning. Currently, the team is working on an LMS, an learning management system. I don't know if I mentioned previously or not, but in this system, we are going to use AI for students and to provide education for underserved communities, especially for Afghan girls currently, that they can use this platform to even use it as an offline application to have access to education, different subjects, English, and which even can check their like homeworks, give them feedbacks. We want the AI to be a teacher for each girl, and I guess it can help a lot for the current situation of Afghanistan. And with this LMS, which is coming soon, I believe it would help a lot. And we know and we believe that we need to adapt, and the pace is so fast, and we are trying, and I guess all the girls here, they're also trying so hard to adapt despite of having much less resources. And I guess it would be much easier, like with the LMS, to provide our education and our mission to our students.
Nice, thank you. I mean, all of you are already spotted in the government. What's AI going to do to them? Next level. But thank you so much, ladies, for your time. Much appreciated. Yasamine, Zahra, Mahnaz, Zohal. And I wish you all the best. As I said, we will stay in contact with each other. I will share the episode link once it's uploaded. And let's get the word out there. Let's get your story out there. And about a month and a half from now, Dawn and I will definitely call you back, for now. Let's keep the conversation going.
Yeah, that would be great.
Perfect. Okay, thank you so much, and please enjoy the rest of your evening. I know it's quite late there now. And we'll chat again soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us. I really enjoyed it. Thanks so much.
All right, bye everyone.
Yeah, it was great. Goodbye.
Okay, bye. Bye.